That being the case, next up would be our council representative, Mr. Mike Winter.
Morning, Commissioners, Mr. President.
Morning.
My intent this morning was not to blindside you with Mr. Godsey, but I have not had an opportunity. I got a call yesterday afternoon from him about some drainage issues on his property at 1439 North County Road 150 East. And I figured with the rain yesterday, it would be a good opportunity to go out there and stand in the rain with Mr. Godsey and check out his problem. I had some video. We may not be able to get to it, and that's fine. I can show you guys offline here what's going on. I think some of you are, not all of you are aware of the situation out there with his property. His complaint was that he's tried getting a hold of a number of the commissioners and not gotten any callbacks and this and that. I'm just telling you his side.
I actually went to his property.
Yeah. I'm not saying it's true, I'm just telling you what he's shared with me. I went and looked at the property, put a couple of new cans in. I guess, I don't know how many years ago, Jay.
Oh, that's been back when, probably 2006, somewhere around there.
Okay. Well, they're functioning properly. The water coming off of the east side of the road on 150 east, the elevation is higher, so it's running off, and the ditch on the east side of the road is not able to carry or take the water, transfer it down to the new bridge. And I understand there's buried utilities and so forth in there, and I think it's kind of difficult with some trees and whatnot, but at the first can, it's the largest can south of his property, just on the south end of his property, that takes the brunt of all the water running off and runs it through his property down into a retention pond that can't contain the water, and it blows out his overflow and his dam and so forth, and works its way down the creek, of course. I'm just doing what I told him I would do, which was bringing it to your attention if it wasn't already, and seeing if anything at all can be done to remedy his situation or make him somewhat happy. I understand that this is an ongoing issue for a number of years, and that some things we've tried to, there's been solutions that have been proposed, and
Correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Howland, but the utilities, number one, would have to remove or at least get access to the fiber optic lines that are there so we could do the work. Am I correct?
Yes, because if you go to ditch it any deeper, the trees have got to be taken out, and the stump's got to be taken out, and then you get into their cages. And the fiber optic, eventually you start digging, they're going to be there.
And they will charge for that, correct? Not for, I mean, I know they'll charge if we damage something. They'll charge just to be there and to assist in moving any lines or anything like that, correct?
Yes.
Okay. The cans that are there, are they of the proper size as far as you know?
I think they carry the water plenty well enough, it's just dumping more on in. But when you get what you got yesterday, it's got about overflow about 80 cans. And I think don't quote me on it, but I think they're 24-inch cans, I think.
they look to be about that size. The one definitely looks to be about this size. The other issue too is not just his property, but as I drove south on 150 east towards the intersection of 100 North, all the water from 100 North is coming down that road as well too, making that turn towards his property. So he's collecting a lot of water that's coming there, and then some of it's diverting the opposite way, heading south on 150 east. You go in there, and it's actually running across the road where it's about 12 feet, 2 to 3 inches deep, downhill. So, I mean, something probably needs to be looked at there too, or whatever, because to me that'd be even a safety hazard. Somebody driving up there, hit that hydroplane, and off they go, because you got the water just going right directly across the road.
I went down Country Club Road yesterday, and there was water rolling over the top of Country Club all up and down that road.
Yesterday was as kind of an exception. I get it, but it's an issue.
My biggest thing as a commissioner, and I'm not speaking for the other two, but I went to Mr. Godsey's house. We talked. I talked to the highway department. Mr. Godsey came here to a commissioners meeting, stood right there, and threatened to sue us. And I said, okay, conversation's over. If that's what you're going to do. And I looked at the attorney, and that was it. So obviously he's not going to sue us now. He just wants to keep talking about it, which is great. The water is an issue. but we've went back to the highway department over and over again, and the cost is going to be, I don't know, Jay, throw a number out there.
I'm not sure, truthfully, because I'm not sure what it costs to get the trees taken down. If you'd have to pay to have them taken down, we've got nothing big enough to handle. But you're probably talking close to 20,000 to get it done right.
And that doesn't include what the utilities would charge us, correct? And even then, you're still gonna have these exceptional rainy days, like we basically had 2 days of nonstop rain. And the biggest problem from what I'm hearing, and you correct me if I'm wrong, the biggest problem is the fact that the retention pond isn't big enough. It's okay to handle a normal rain or maybe a short-term exceptional rain, but for long-term exceptional rains like we've had the last 2 days, you'd have to have an actual pond there, half a mile wide and 20 feet deep.
Well, as I talked to you before the meeting, I don't think the retention pond is so much the issue, is what it can retain. It's what's getting to the pond. It's what's running off from the roads to there. I mean, if you can see the video, the water that's coming down 150 east heading north is carrying all the trash from the ditches. You're seeing all these cups, styrofoam cups, and you see them in his yard. So, I mean, it's a combination of everything. It's kind of the perfect storm yesterday for water, ground saturation, all of that. I get it. But my request is if you could guys talk to him again and see what you come up with. I also wonder, you know, with all that water coming up from all this other property and the cans that were put in, are we as a county liable for anything that, for the way the cans are pointed towards his property? If you kind of get, what I'm saying is, did we create part of the situation?
Well, my question is, when was the retention pond put in?
Well, the retention pond
95?
again is not the issue. That is not the issue. The issue is before that. The water getting to the retention pond. The retention pond can't hold it. Whether it was constructed properly or not, that's not the issue. The water is still going across the property, getting down to the retention pond.
Well, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll come to the next council meeting and we'll ask for $20,000 plus to fix the
Well, now,
problem.
Zane, now you're being a little silly.
Am I?
Because you are. Because just go
We've-
up there.
we've-
Let's go there and talk to him
We
first.
have visited this issue. We don't have the money to do it.
Okay. I don't know what to tell you, but if it were my property, I would probably be a little happy too.
Can I say something, Mike?
Yeah.
The cans that were put in there weren't new to that area.
No, I
They
know.
replaced old cans that was
Right.
already there.
You said they were crushed.
Yeah, they were crushed well, and they actually put bigger cans in and carried the water better. But him putting a pond in below it, there's nothing you can do about that, because he's the one putting that in.
We're not talking about the pond. We keep going back to the pond. I'm not talking about the pond.
That's what he's complaining about mostly, those ponds.
Well, to me, he didn't mention that. He mentioned that it blew out and the water is going to the pond, and I could see that. And in the video, like I said, you're seeing thousands of gallons coming down that hill into his property. And all I'm saying is if we exhausted every avenue, I'm not saying come to council and ask for $20,000, I think they said we're being a little facetious there. I'm saying simply just come to talk to him, see if we've exhausted every avenue. If we've exhausted everything, Zane, then we've done what we can do.
Well, he's just, when he doesn't get the answer out of you, it's gonna go to somebody else and somebody else and somebody
If
else.
we've exhausted everything and we can dot our i's and cross our t's and say, this is it, this is all we can do, we can't do anything else, then we've done everything we can do. And all I'm asking
Well,
is, have we done
It
that?
kind of makes it look like the commissioners just gave up on the idea and we haven't.
I'm not implying that.
The issue is that we've come to we've talked, Jay was the highway superintendent way back when this issue came up. And Jay, I think you flat looked at us and said, it's going to be a mess to get everything done. So as the director, we went off that, your expertise and said, there's not a whole lot we can do about it. And I'll be more than happy to go back out there when it's
I don't have to
raining.
be a highway supervisor to agree with that.
Right.
To see that I can see utility lines there, I can see that, and I've told them that. I can see that. I can also see that the water comes down, hits a high point, and that on the east side of the road backs up and goes through the can.
Mhm.
It has no way to get down to the new bridge.
Right.
All I'm saying is if we talk to John, and we exhausted every resource, and if we have, and then we're done. I'm just bringing it to you, relaying the message, because he called me yesterday, I went and looked at it, and that's it. I'm not saying you've ignored it, I'm not saying you've given up on them. I'm just presenting it.
And and I do appreciate you going out there and looking at it. I do. You didn't have to. You could have said, hey, it's not my area. And I appreciate you doing that. It's supposed to rain the end of this week for 3 days straight. I'm going to take another ride back out there. Take a look at it. You took some video. If the other two want to take time to go out there, that's great. But I still want to talk to Jay Havlin. I still want to talk to, some other people, or not Jay, Richard Corum. And I think it's going to come right back to the fact that, we're going to fall short of being able to do it budget-wise, to redo. And the reason why we asked the question is, and the monitor's not working, sorry, that's not his fault. But if the water's running down the road through the ditch and through the cans, okay, and that's what they're doing, and all of a sudden I throw a channel in there and put in a pond. Well, now that water's going to go to the pond, okay, after the fact. Now it's going to
The pond is
overflow.
downhill, the water has to go someplace, it's gonna follow the path of least resistance.
Right.
Which is through his property.
Right. But if
We have no other way for it to go.
if we never put an off-ramp in there, it would have just kept going down
It
the road.
was there, like Jay said, it's been there.
Right.
It's been there prior to his complaints. It's been there prior to 2006. They were crushed, they replaced them. And maybe part of the problem wasn't as bad prior because the cans were crushed. And the water didn't have the free access. And you put larger cans in, so now it gives it less restriction. So I don't expect it to get solved here today, and that's not what I'm asking for. I'm just saying, please talk to him and please see if we've exhausted every avenue.
Mike, would you forward those videos to our individual emails?
Yeah.
And then I will watch
Well,
it.
they're probably too large to. Michael will put them on the server for you.
Okay.
I've got them in a folder. Well, I took some pictures and stuff and forget that they're rotated 90 degrees, but hey, it's a non-Apple phone, so.
Okay.
That's all I had. Again, my intention was not to blindside you or
I understand
to
that.
make you look silly,
I
or
appreciate
it was
it.
not my intention, but to bring it to your attention.
We appreciate it, Mike, and when Steve first called me, I talked to the highway supervisor and did discuss the problem and found out that Steve has a poor location for his home and there's nothing that can be done, that they already moved all these cans in, and so that's why I hadn't really gone out there. But when I saw how bad the roads were, I know he's been discussing this on Facebook now for about another month, and he even called it to the attention of my son that lives in Georgia.
Yeah.
And he and Jerry went to school together, so Jerry asked me what was the problem with the water company, and I said, well, it wasn't the water company, it was the water flow, and it was the location of Steve's house that was the problem. And without him moving, I don't know that we can solve this at all. That I discussed the situation with many people, and he had not been ignored.
I didn't think he had, but sometimes when you're in that situation and you're not getting the response that you want quick enough, that immediate gratification, you feel like you're being ignored. And I'm certainly not insinuating that any of you have. I don't feel that way. I've worked with you long enough to know that probably is not the case, but that it's kind of a holding pattern. But
It's one of those things where if it's not resolved to his satisfaction,
I understand.
and I don't know what we do unless we build a dam between the road and his house
Have
to
you
stop
thought
the
about
water. Or just close that road off altogether. But that's kind of where it stands.
You couldn't do a nice corrugated steel dam out of some leftover roofing material or something? I'm kidding.
When you have a house that's downhill from a hillside cornfield, it's really tough.
Yeah, I know. And even if you dug a ditch, you're still going to have some runoff because of the crown of the road. He's still going to deal with it to a degree.
Yeah.
Again, my plea is just
Do what we can.
make him happy. Yes, what you can do.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you checking it out, and I'm glad that you went out and took the video yesterday, because as I was driving past here, I started out to 44 to my house, and I thought this would be a good time to go out and check out Steve's problem, because 44 was flooded going downhill from 200 East to Temple. The sides of the road were covered and the ditch was filled and running out into 44. So we had a problem yesterday
Oh, yeah.
on the state highways, no less with the county roads.
Okay. Well, they're next on the list. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I don't have anything else. Do you have anything for me?
I don't know if Frank has anything for you or not, I don't.
I'm sorry,
I
Mr.
don't have
President.
anything else. Do you have anything for me?
No, sir, I don't think so.
We forgot when we're supposed to meet again as a council, and
If you get your people together and get a date, I'm sure we can accommodate
Okay.
your time.
all right, I'll check the last minutes, a few minutes, and see when we talked about. I thought it was pretty soon, so if not, we already missed it, so
Okay,
thanks.
thanks, sir.
Thanks.
Do we have any mail? No mail? Any old business? No old business, any new business? Oh, Miss Terry Bennett.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm here, we have a full-time position that's going to be coming up and effective Sunday, and we just held full-time interviews like 60 days ago. So I was just trying to get the approval of you guys for me to put someone into that position effective, it'd be Monday of next week. There were 4 people for the candidates for the full-time position last time. I want to get in touch with those members that were in those interviews and discuss the applicants and come to an agreement on one person. But since we're needing that full-time position open really quick, or filled really quick, and we just had the interviews, I don't have a name yet for you, but I just wanted to, and I'll get that to you as soon as, since we won't meet again until after
I
Monday.
need a motion to approve to hire.
Your list you're choosing from are part-timers?
Yes,
Okay.
currently at my center, yes. And we just did, I mean, I don't even think it's been 60 days, so, so they're all, so I just kind of want to get that blessing and make sure that we go ahead and start them.
Having heard that, do I hear a motion to allow her to go ahead and fill that position?
I make a motion that we allow Terry to hire one of these candidates that she's already interviewed to put in that position
Second.
at her choice.
I have a motion and a second to allow Ms. Bennett Ms. Bennett Hadler to
I still say
fill
that.
the full-time position from one of the ones interviewed that were part-timers. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 3 ayes.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Have a good day. There is one housekeeping piece of business we need to do. Our May meeting falls on Election Day, so we need to move that. The County Council has moved theirs to the following day on Wednesday, so keeping in accordance with the fact that we both meet on the same day, the first meeting of the month, I would suggest, but whatever the board wants to do, that we meet on Wednesday, May 4th, if I remember right.
I make a motion that we meet on May 4th.
Second. Sorry.
I have a motion and a second to change our May meeting date from May 3rd to May 4th, same time, 9 a.m. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
3 ayes. Patron concerns. Anyone here? There's no one here today. Anybody have anything to say? Present, ask questions? Okay, if not, we'll move on for the approval of the claims and payroll. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the claims and payroll. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 3 ayes. Mr. Reese, I just opened the floor for patron concerns. Is there anything you want to address us about?
This here's concerned.
Okay. If there's no other business to come before the board, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second to adjourn. Is there any discussion?
Aye.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 3 ayes. We are adjourned.